Man, we are learning a lot now, and to accelerate our spiritual growth and to move faster towards what God is calling us to. I really want to encourage you to seek out a space where perhaps you have a chance to have healthy, challenging conversations with other people that will help you explore all the ways that that we're hearing these type of messages, because you heard this differently than I heard it. And to model that, I sit down every week with the teaching pastor for that week to say, this is how we do that. And hopefully you will do the same thing wherever you are, in whatever way you feel most possible and most helpful for you personally. Becky, thanks for teaching. What a great message. There's a lot there to unpack, and I don't think we can get to all of it in just a couple of minutes, but you mentioned that to not love the world, as John says, don't go out and don't love the world, really is not talking about people. It's talking about a system where I believe you said something like where two temptations are normalized, a distance from God and deciding what's good and what's evil for ourselves. So you say that it's not talking about people, but it's talking about a system, and so I don't have to hate the other people in our system.
Yeah, I think sometimes we take these literal verses, right, and we see John's call to not love the world, and then we attribute, we define in our minds, right, what is the world, and it's usually actions people are having, right, and so that just causes us to then now attribute the world to people who are living or having those types of actions, and therefore, well, we're not supposed to love the world. So there can be an othering of them. There can be a distancing of ourselves from them. There can be a us versus them, a hating even, and unfortunately, to humanity who is not a part of the Christian faith system, that's one of the most common things, right? They perceive the Christian faith to be known for, what they're against, who they're against, as opposed to love, right? Which is what John says should be our defining characteristic.
Yeah. I also heard, for me at least, like when I heard you talk about the enemy is the world, but it's also inside of us, like all these temptations that we're fighting for ourselves. And I really appreciate at that times that you said that you at times turn to things that provide pleasure or comfort because you want that instant gratification, you want the silence, or at least, I don't know, numb, you know, the anxieties that you have or the insecurities that you have. Do you want to
I think
tell us more? This is a safe place, Becky. These people are super nice, really. They're super nice, and they're going to be so nice to you.
I mean, I think that there's traditional things we think of when it comes to the lust of the flesh, right? And often we associate it just with sex or porn or whatever, you know? But I think especially in our like technology saturated society, there's so many more ways this plays out. For me personally, one of the ways it's played out recently, no judgment here, okay? You're about to lose some respect for me. Okay, so I, in the last like year and a half, have discovered the game Pokemon Go. I know I'm late to the game, but I like love it, and it was something I was gonna do because my son got into Pokemon, and now I was doing it all the time without him, right? And so it became this thing that kind of consumed any moment of my day, any boredom I experienced, any overwhelm I experienced, any anxiety that started, I would just default to going and playing and opening and numbing the reality of that kind of human experience by doing this thing that kind of took my brain. I can check out, I can disengage, and I was realizing, okay, that's that's not right? That's trying to provide this instant gratification, this temporary pleasure to deeper things that are ultimately going on, that I'm not going to find healing or happiness or satisfaction, right, in that way. I find that in Jesus. And so I gave up Pokemon Go for Lent. I'm like, 2 weeks in. But it really has been this time of like realizing the hold that had on me that I didn't realize when I was like in the midst of it. Even though Garrett would be like, you play it too much, you need to, and I'd be like, whatever, you stop
Yeah.
judging me.
So
But-
just hold that, to not trust Jesus for who he really says he is.
Yeah, or for the things I need, the insecurities, the anxieties, the things that I need in my brokenness, in my humanness, finding solace for those things or finding relief of those things in other ways than Jesus.
And we can trust God that he knows what's best for us, and he wants our ultimate happiness, like true happiness.
Yeah, that reminds me of Saint Ignatius of Loyola says that like he defines sin as simply the unwillingness to trust that like what God ultimately wants for you is your deepest happiness, right? And so instead we find these other ways that we have to try to find happiness because we don't trust that that's what God's trying to do for us all along.
Wow. He's trying to do that for us. He's trying to do that for you. And I hope that you're with us as we attempt to, with God's help, live this gospel lifestyle, putting God on the throne and stop living as if we're the ones in charge. Join us in that. Drop us a line. Check out all the different ways you can connect with CF Online, both in person and online. I can't wait to start the conversation with you. I'm so glad you were here. I hope to see you next time. God bless you.